All right, so let's talk about capitalism. Now, I know what you're thinking, or what you might be thinking, right? Um, there's, this commie, this socialist, whatever. Let it be perfectly clear. I love the way capitalism has laid out intentions for structure as it links to competition and some general orderly rules. That's what I enjoy about capitalism is, one of my cultural identification traits as it is tied to my indigenous self in terms of being American. I would definitely say that erring on the side of caution there with that statement in terms of it meaning a specific thing. I enjoy competition. Now, I don't think everything's a competition. I don't think, in fact, most things are a competition. However, when it's, agreed upon that it's time to compete, I'm all for it. I absolutely love competitive natures and having the opportunity to defeat somebody at something. I mean, again, I grew up playing sports here in America, all sports, and also, speech and debate and thespian type stuff. And so I, again, like competing. Now, you'd think that since I like competing, I'd be able to translate that love of competition on over to the economy. Now, we're told that we can, in fact, do this. We can translate those same kinds of basic competitive nature feelings and utilize them in an economic sense, sort of like social Darwinism, but in like the economic sense, I'd say, which is again left up to opinion, but in mine, definitely not interested in supporting something that isn't fair. Which brings me to why I think capitalism's failing. Now, I think capitalism's failing, this current version of capitalism. I think it's failing because of its rampant exploitation. Now, again, it's one thing to be competitive, and it's another to just be a sore loser, to be a jerk, to be a sore loser in a sense that you're still winning, but you want to, step on the throat of your competition, for lack of better terms. And I think that there's something very unhuman in that, unkindly, and definitely on my side of the aisle, from my perspective, ungentlemanly. I think that exploitation is the opposite of competition. Exploitation means that you are so concerned with competition that you must ensure your victory by performing actions that are not just arguably unethical and unmoral, but downright arguably criminal in nature in terms of the suppression of potential competition as it would be. So we're coming to the bargaining table here. There's collective action in terms of wanting to compete. However, when again the opposition suppresses competition, that is a sore loser, I would definitely argue. And exploiting people is, again, it's like I grew up playing basketball, right? And there was always a real famous saying out on the court, and I still stand by it. And it's everything circumstantial, right? But out on the basketball court, when you're running full court, you don't want people cherry picking. And you don't want people cherry picking because it inherently goes against all of what the other 9 people on the court are trying to do. Even if you get one person to help you out in your little excursion there to cherry pick, even if you get your entire team, in theory, the other 4 members, and there's a total of 5 of you, the other 5 people you're competing against are always going to be figuring out what to do and in response to how offense comes. But more importantly, people that cherry pick are the worst kind of basketball players. To just stand, half court and wait for the ball to get checked in and or an active rebound, step 10 feet back, ask for the ball and do a layup. You've done no work. One might argue that you're smart, just like people would argue that they're smart for exploiting people or for taking advantage of entire industries or, manipulating the environment to such an extent that we live in a world and in a country where there's thousands of dams currently that need to be looked at before they become harmful. And so there's so many things to anti-competitive nature that I see embedded into the fabric of these phony people who pretend to be capitalists when, again, capitalism in itself is competition. And I'm for competition. I absolutely am for competition. I'm just not for this current kind of capitalism.